So we're like, my social people think like I just be fucking around on social media when they be like, wow, Slapz, oh, look at the drip. Okay, I see the kicks. I see the, is that a pager? Okay, I'll be like, wow, look at the God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really me speaking life into myself. You know what I'm saying? Like daily, speaking life into myself and encouraging people to do the same for themselves. At first, it just started out as me saying it, and then I started to believe it. So you have to get good with self first. You have to look around you. Yeah, this is where I live. This is who I'm with. This is how I look. This is how I feel. Not to say that you can't improve all areas of your life.
Hi guys, welcome back to Below the Surface, Conversations for Men by Men. My name is Kudokwashem Shaike. I am your host. In this channel, we have conversations with men about their lives, the things that affect them, the challenges they're facing, but also their hopes and dreams for the future. And this week, I'll be talking to Drae Slapz. Drae Slapz is a producer, a DJ, and a rapper from Portland, Oregon.
Slapz. Who that? Drae Slapz.
I gotta have it. I gotta have it, yeah. I gotta have it. You cannot just call me. Can't. Best to shoot the email or the DM, I'm in back.
They told me make the beat, now that's a free throw. They said Slapz on this shit, what you need me for? I don't waste no time, running it back, watching the time. I got the answers when it do. Throw me the rock, pass me the ball. I am the one, I play the score. I don't waste no time, I don't waste no time. I don't waste no time, I don't waste no time.
Oh, you didn't look at me that time. You didn't acknowledge me.
You got me, bro. Hey, let's do it again.
All right.
I want to acknowledge you, bro.
Yeah, that's good.
You tested, right?
Yeah.
Now you can actually hold it.
Facts.
Yeah.
Now we in the money.
So Drae Slapz.
Yeah.
So who's Drae Slapz, man?
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a lot of things. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like who's the real one?
Who's the real one? Who's
Yeah.
the real Drae Slapz?
Yeah.
Man, Drae Slapz is a lot of things. Drae Slapz is a son, a brother, a friend, a husband, you know, a God-fearing man.
Yeah.
And, you know, someone that just wants to see the best, you know, come out for his community and for the youth. I feel like those two things first and foremost, but also, you know, Drae is also an artist, a producer, an engineer, a DJ, a digital marketing strategist, creative operations producer. So like a project manager. And somebody that just has been able to grow, I feel like in parallel corporately and musically. So
you're saying that about like not being in the place that you want to be, that and that causing some kind of like downness or not being happy about it.
For sure.
How does that look like?
Oh man, it's ugly. And it got into like at one point I got into a really dark place, and I was just like very frustrated and upset all the time. Like I just couldn't find happiness. And it just showed. I was just upset a lot, and I had to reevaluate on one, what does success look like to me? Two, what things can I do to ensure that I'm going in the right direction with those things? And three, why am I doing this? I had to reassert this is a passion, you know, and I'm doing it not only for the betterment of myself and my family, but also, like I said, for the youth and for my community. So that's around the time that I transitioned from just producing and DJing to being an artist myself as well. And pushing out music about self-love, about motivation, about talking about things that we go through in the corporate space and environment, talking about things that we go through as people of color in those spaces and outside of those spaces. And then, you know, just talking about shit a little bit as well, because you always got to have some time where you also can just have fun and, you know, really just talk your talk. And that's when I started to really come out of that. It took about a year of recording to really see what I was doing. So I guess you had
to remind yourself again why you care about this thing or why you're pursuing it.
Yeah.
So as you say, you had to redefine what success means to you.
Yeah.
So what does success mean to you now, and how was that process to get to that point where you're like, okay, this is how success looks like for me? And
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to say too much because there's like a plan and structure to it. But long story short, success looks like being able to live off of my music so that I can therefore grow it, scale it, and impact more lives from it. Okay. Right? Yeah. And it allowed me to free up more time to do different things in the community and with youth that directly impact them outside of the music as well. Okay. Because as long as I'm in a corporate environment, I'm working, 8 to 5, 8 to 6 or longer, depending on the season in that space. So I only have, from the time I get home, take my dog out, chill with my wife for a little bit. We do what we need to do, break down how our days went. At that point, it's 8, 9 o'clock, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. I only have that from that time to when I go to sleep to work on music. Yeah, success looks like that. And I had to redefine that because without having a benchmark, success just looks like being Drake or being Kendrick Lamar or being, DJ Mustard. It's just like all of these really high scale achievements, right? Yeah. But if you have no way to measure your success leading up to that point, nothing is going to seem like enough. And that's where I was. Yeah. I just wanted to be the biggest A-list, mainstream person. Yeah. And not quantifying what that looks like or how to grow within it, right? Okay. So if you want to be Drake or Kendrick Lamar or Travis Scott, whatever, these I call them like tier A artists, right? They're selling, if they come to Portland, they're selling out the Moda Center or the Memorial Coliseum, which is like our sports arena. Yeah. So if I sell out, or if I'm a part of a show at the Rosen or Crystal Ballroom, those are really big venues, right? With 2,500, 1,500 people. But if it ain't the Moda Center, it's not the same. It doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, oh, that was cool, but I need to keep growing to get to that point. Mm-hmm. How
do you find contentness in that? Because I think for me, it's really hard. Like, I can relate to everything you're saying, even in my career. Like, right now, I'm a software engineer, right? Mm-hmm. And there's just, the industry changes a lot every single day. There's just a lot to learn. And right now, I'm going to start a new job in a week. And
congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. And it's like, thinking about it, it just sometimes frustrates me because I'm like, I want to be here so bad and I'm trying everything. And sometimes it just doesn't feel like I'm doing enough because once you have to apply those skills, you may read them, you may look them up online, but once you have to apply it, it's a completely different process. Yeah. And then people also have to come and say, this is good work. Yeah. So, and sometimes, which is something that you don't always get. But like finding that contentness for me has always been hard. Or just being like, okay, I'm happy where I'm at. Of course I can be better, but let me celebrate this. How have you found that?
So first, I had to, like I said, I redefined what success was. So for me, success is being able to live off of my music, right? Yeah. I was like, okay, what does that look like? Yeah. So I tallied up, and I already keep an Excel spreadsheet of all of my household bills, right? Yeah. So I went to my spreadsheet and I looked at, okay, month over month, this is about how much I spend on bills, right? Yeah. I was like, on top of that, I would want to have at least 30 to 40% income above that so that I can live comfortably. I'm paying my bills, but I have money to do other stuff as well, right? So I put that number together and I said, okay, boom. How can I make this much money a month from music? Yeah. So then I built my plan and I scaled it around that. Yeah. And for me, the ultimate goal at this point is to get 10,000 fans. Yeah. From 10,000 fans, the power of tens, from 10,000 fans, I know I can have 1,000 people a month pay for some kind of product, right? And I have a whole contingency plan on how to get those people, how to retain those people, and how to scale it. So that became what success was, reaching 10,000 fans. Okay, cool. Let's do an initial push and see how that is. So I did my first push and I got my first round of people in, right? I saw the number I was at. I was like, okay, cool. Step 1, get 100 fans in the funnel. Step 2, 200, 300, 400. And that's how I scale up to 100 until I get to 1,000. Once I get to that 1,000 mark, I know 100 people month over month will go through this plan. As I'm still working corporately, I can use the money that I'm reaching from my funnel and from what I'm doing to put back into the music and continue to grow exponentially until I can reach my 10,000.
Wow, that's smart.
So by redefining that, it actually gave me something to work towards and get towards, right?
So you're just not frustrating yourself.
So I'm
frustrating yourself, like
exactly,
I'm not there.
Exactly. And I'm not quantifying what I'm doing. Because it's just like, I'm doing stuff, but how do I know if it's even good? Right?
Yeah.
So now that I had that, it allowed me to boom. All right, now let me sit within myself, right? Yeah. What things, and that goes into like the message of self-love and like really digging yourself and motivating yourself. One, give like a ton of credit to my wife for always pouring into me. Yeah. Always like, oh, you look so good, or oh, that's a super smart idea. And even being there, like letting me know and giving me feedback when something isn't great. But she's always from the beginning, always poured into me, even at times when I couldn't see it in myself. Yeah. And that's why
one of your biggest fans.
Yeah. And that's where
that's real. You need that.
Yeah, facts. And that's also where like my social people think like I just be fucking around on social media when they be like, wow, Slapz. Oh, look at the drip. Okay, I see the kicks. I see is that a pager? Okay, I'll be like, wow, look at the God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really me speaking life into myself. You know what I'm saying? Like daily, speaking life into myself and encouraging people to do the same for themselves. At first, it just started out as me saying it, and then I started to believe it. So you have to get good with self first. You have to look around you. Yeah, this is where I live. This is who I'm with. This is how I look. This is how I feel. Not to say that you can't improve all areas of your life, but see where you're at and be happy with how far you've come. Look back, think where you was 5 years ago, 10, 15. Look where you're at. Be happy with who you are, where you're at. Boom, now let's get to work.
Damn, man, that's real.
Yeah.
You know, because I always wondered why you do that. Because that's why some of they're the funniest thing ever. Like,
you feel me? Just
like,
feel good,
just
right?
Feel
like,
good. And it's like, I think somebody say like, it's like your spirit doesn't know. When you say things like, oh, I'm terrible at this and whatever, like your spirit is listening. And sometimes it doesn't know when you're not telling the truth and when you are telling the truth. And over time, you get that energy because that's what you keep saying about yourself. Yeah. So, man, I love that. Yeah, and I think I want to start doing that too.
Do it, bro.
Yo, you look clean, bro. Facts. You look good.
And after a while, you can be like, do it.
Like, is that you? Like,
and then it's crazy because
I like that. I never thought about it that way.
And it flips because when somebody, like when somebody shoots you negative energy or says something, you like, you tripping. Like, me? No way.
And because you have that, I've seen you, like, even when we're downstairs, when you're talking to people and encouraging people and saying nice thing about them, because that's how you feel about yourself.
Exactly.
Because it's hard to feed other people if you don't have enough in your own self to be able to do that.
And also, man, it just comes from honestly, I feel like being like a fat kid growing up, like for real, like being a fat kid with no father either. So, I remember, I like have vivid memories of like being in elementary school and trying to change the way I laugh because somebody told me, I think somebody was like, you laugh like a girl or something like that. So I would go sit in front of the TV and I would watch.
Trying to learn how to laugh.
I would watch TV like Cosby Show and Family Matters, like things with black men on it. And I would see how the characters laugh now, and I would be there like, ha ha, no, ha ha, no. And I would just literally practice how to laugh.
You're kidding me.
From a kid, like I've had the innate ability to almost like be a chameleon. Like, and that's helped me corporally as well. Like I can go into different environments, read the room and adjust. Yeah. But after a while, like in college, I realized one day I sat and I was like, well, who am I? Because I was so used to, for the past 10 years, going into these rooms and adjusting, that I lost a sense of who I was or what did I really like? What did I really think? What did I really care about? Yeah. You know, because I was just so used to being able to move on the nail and just boom, boom, boom. Oh, yeah, this is what you need. This is what's being called for. I can provide it. And so, being that, man, it just really taught me to evaluate self and figure out where I was and what I liked. And then I thought about how much we crave that kind of energy from others, you know, like, a lot of the times, like, people don't say it, but, you know, when you get dressed in the morning, when you make sure you smell good, when you make sure you look good, when you make sure you're putting your best forward at work, a lot of the times you're doing it for self, but you're unconsciously expecting some kind of praise or like reciprocation from others. You know? So that's why, I go out of my way and like, I like your shoes, or I see you, like, if I see somebody in the office, And I have a relationship with them, so it's not weird or anything like that. But if I notice, they did their hair that day, I'd be like, oh, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you decided to come in and go and do, you feeling good this morning, huh? And you'd be like, oh, yeah, like, thanks for noticing. Yeah, no problem. You know what I'm saying? It looks good. Yeah,
like,
thank you.
Those positive vibes
Just make sure, people feel seen.
Yeah.
I remember feeling unseen a lot growing up, and I know how it feels to be seen.
And for me, I think what I resonated so much with what you're saying is that you had to kind of like go on TV or whatever to learn how to love, because and one thing that you said is that you're looking at Black men that were on TV and how they loved. So I wanted to ask this about you, because it's something that I struggle with as well when I was coming up, is that the fact that I grew up with a single parent as well. Like, I was raised by a single mom. My father passed on when I was a year old. I don't know what your situation is.
No, he's still around somewhere.
He's still around. He's still around somewhere.
He's still around somewhere.
So man, you're funny the way you say. I wanted to say something deep, but I'm now.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No.
Yeah. But I remember just growing up and wanting to see, not knowing what it means to be a man, and looking up to my friends to see how they acted, to see what was normal about being a man. And sometimes I'd find myself being extra emotional because I was surrounded by a lot of women in my life. I'm the only guy in my family, and sometimes I would find being more compassionate for women and their issues and stuff like that more than most of my friends were. And I'll start questioning myself, and I'll start changing, like being more masculine. And it became an area of insecurity for me. Like, okay, am I masculine enough? Do I act more like a guy? The fact that I care so much and have so much compassion for women and their issues and the things they go through, is that normal? And trying to repress some of those thoughts I have, or some of that compassion I feel, and just being like, okay, even now, bro, it's crazy that even now sometimes I question myself, like, yo, am I being masculine enough? And am I, and I guess not having a father, that's why I kind of like started having these conversations too, because I realized it's not only for guys who didn't have fathers like us, but some guys to feel that they have to sort of like become a man or do specific things that show that they're a man. How was that process for you? Because it seems like you went through that as well. And how did you come on the other side? Or have you come from the other side?
I feel like at this point, I feel like I'm on the other side, but I feel like you'll always still feel certain things. It's just about being cognizant of what you're feeling and being aware of it, There's definitely still times where I can see like, myself being pulled in certain directions emotionally or certain thought patterns. And it's just that I've identified them now, so I know when I'm being triggered and when it's happening. But I would say, I don't know, man. I think just from a kid, I've always had this like fascination with family. And what I felt like family should be. Like some of my favorite shows growing up was like Full House, Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Cosby Show. Full House is kind of like, it's literally like the white Family Matters. You know what I'm saying? Or Cosby Show. It's like, I know it was TV. Well, now I know it's TV, but back then, just like the amount of love and even through conflict and different things that happened, I kind of always was drawn to that, you know? And man, I definitely could see myself like missing that element and a feeling like it was missing because there was no father figure in the picture, putting like honestly unnecessary like feelings and like pressure because I never talked to my mother about it, I don't think, but kind of just having like not unnecessary, like the word is like unrealistic, like putting real unrealistic like pressure on how I thought our life should be based on TV shows. You know what I'm saying? Because she was working 2-3 jobs to make sure we was good. I grew up and lived at my grandmother's house a lot. And it wasn't until I got to college and started taking care of myself and realizing how hard it is to just take care of one person, to think of all the shit she had to go through to take care of 4 of us.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was no way, I had no idea.
I'm realizing that as I grow as well.
You feel me? It's crazy. And so with the father thing, it was like, my dad was around. He went to jail. He was in jail when I was born. He got out of jail and he was just he was like an authoritative figure. I would only go over his house when I was in big trouble. I was only over there when I was in trouble. But his lifestyle also was very far removed away from what I thought family and fatherhood and all of these things, because I've been watching these shows with these great dads on TV. And I'm like, why is my dad not like that? Why does he only want me when I'm in trouble? You know, why is it just an authoritative thing? Why doesn't he show love in certain ways? You know what I'm saying? Why does he do certain things? And me and him still don't really talk like that. But I've come to learn, like, with him and my mother, they were just showing love the way that they would show love a certain way. As you grow as adults, you try to just better what you were shown. But if you weren't shown anything but what you were shown, how can you be expected to give something else? Or if you were neglected of something, how can you be expected to fill someone else's cup with it if you don't even realize
realize that you don't have it?
Exactly. So I had to take account on, like, how my parents grew up and what their family construct was like, and how that affected them, therefore affecting us.
So how are you filling your cup now?
Man, my wife, God, like, God fills my cup so I can fill others. Man, honestly.
Where you getting the, because to be able to teach, you need to be able to learn, like, to learn how to love as a man. Where are you finding that, like, knowledge or wisdom, or how that looks like?
I would say that's the issue. Love is love. There is no how to love as a man and how to love as a woman. I feel like there's certain things that are expected of us as a man and as a woman, but at the same time, especially in this day and age, we're all so independent in, like, the early 1900s way of what a woman does and what a man does no longer really exists, right? So it's really about finding ways, in my mind, on how to care for and empower the people around you. And by showing genuine care and trying to find ways to uplift them and make them better, not necessarily in what your sense of better is, but listening to them and seeing what they are trying to be better at, what better is for them or to them, and trying to love them and help them through that is, in my regard and what my way, kind of what that came to be. I joined a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which is the first, I would say the first collegiate Greek-led, African-American Greek-led organization. And I found that in joining that, I realized I was looking for a brotherhood and looking for that male energy and looking for that male sense of love and still searching what that looked like. What does that mean, right? But honestly, it wasn't until I met my wife, and at the time, just a girl, you know, who then we started dating, and throughout us dating, the way she poured into me and the way I watched her pour into other people who could be just a stranger, could just be somebody in a class, could be a student that she was helping because she started working for the Diversity and Multicultural Student Services Office as kind of like a coordinator. But just how she poured into people's lives in general showed me what genuine love looked like. And it took me a long time to get to that place where I could do the same. But just seeing that allowed me to see what it was. And like I said, it wasn't
you didn't
like
necessarily have to see it from a man.
No.
That's interesting. Because I feel like for the most of us, we look at other men to learn how it looks like to be a man or how to love as a man. At least for me, I feel like that was kind of almost like a fascination of mine growing up, like, because I didn't have a father at home. So I would look around to see what the people that I had fathers were doing or how their fathers moved through space to learn about, or like at least my relatives that I knew and how they moved through space. I looked up to that. But it's insane that you say, like, love is just love and, like, being is just being. I guess, So how did you manage to move away from, because I feel like there's a lot of pain that comes with not having. And there's a lot of questions you have. At least I had a lot of questions. But for me, it was easy because I was just like, oh, my father is dead. Like, I can't really ask these questions. But for you, you kind of had your father around, but you didn't have that relationship with him.
What's the question?
So the question is, how do you move away from that lack or that pain of not having to just being like, okay, I'm going to focus on feeding my cup so I can feed other people?
man, there's just like, you go through phases. So the first phase is just like, fuck you, I don't need you.
Wow.
Fuck you, I don't need you. You haven't been around, I don't need you around.
Yeah.
This is resilience, this is growth, this is excellence. And I'm going to show you why I don't need you. So it almost is like a driving force. I wanted to be everything he wasn't and nothing that he was.
Shoot.
And that drove me for a really long time. But that was like, so I would say at first there's wanting the acceptance and wanting the love and wanting to be around.
Yeah.
And there's little things that I saw myself doing through middle school and high school, almost like crying out for help without crying, because that's not masculine. And at that age, you want to be strong and masculine and all of these things that society is telling you so like I'm doing certain things like my father's a gang member, or I don't know if he's currently your ex or whatever. Once you're in, you're in, as far as I know. So I chose to go to a certain high school initially because it was his gang colors. I wore certain things to like graduation because I thought it would make him proud, or that he would look at it and be like, oh, that's my son. And just like doing little things like that. Also with him being in jail, or being in jail, there were certain jobs that he couldn't have. So if you can't have certain jobs, you kind of use women in different ways, you know what I'm saying, to get what you need or to make stuff happen. If you're a good looking dude, which he was, or which he is. Like, I remember going places with him as a kid and people thinking that was my older brother, not my dad, because he looked so young and good. So I wanted to be none of that. I wanted to have a successful relationship. I wanted to have a family structure. I wanted to just be with one person. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to have the corporate job, or like the degrees. I also wanted to be wildly successful. I wanted to do all the things that I felt like he lacked, in spite of him, to make him feel like he fucked up.
Wow.
And so, it grew from that, wanting his acceptance, to saying, fuck you, I'm rebelling against everything you are, to be everything you can't be, everything you could never be.
Yeah.
Then once I found God, and really, because all Black people say we're Christian. Yeah. But it wasn't until I got with my wife and she, started wanting me to come to her church that I started to really accept God into my life, and I got baptized. And one day on Father's Day, we went to church, and the message was about, just the father above, but also our earthly father, and what that looks like in that relationship, and how important it is and things like that. And I kind of broke down, and I cried. I walked outside the church literally, and I'm sitting on the church stairs, and I wrote him a message on Facebook, like a 4-paragraph message, like, yo, I know our relationship has been rocky. I know things haven't really worked out. We don't really talk much, but I would love to sit down and start getting together more. Yeah. I feel like this important in both our lives to have this relationship, et cetera, and really just going into detail and like really just pouring out like everything. And I think that's why I got to the point that I was now, because I put out everything. And like, I'm sitting in front of the church steps, like it's Father's Day, like it's just all of these things. And his response was, it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. You got a car. You got my number. If you want to see me, you can come see me just as easy as I can come see you. And at that moment, I shut off. I completely shut him off. I was like, bruh, what the fuck? Like, you're my dad. I'm coming to you as the kid, pouring out everything that I have and saying, basically, I want you in my life.
Yeah.
And your response to me is, then basically come get it. Like, come to me.
Wow.
I was like, what? Oh yeah, fuck you, bro. Fuck everything about you. Like, nigga, you're dead to me. Like, it's whatever. And that's why in my song a year ago, I said, I swear I lost my father at birth, yet that nigga still in town intent on chasing a purse, chasing after women. That nigga still in town. I swear I lost my father at birth. Yet the nigga still in town intent on chasing a purse. That nigga still in town intent on something. I can't remember. But then I said, but when it comes to me and him, it's like he's not on this earth. Damn. shit seemed perfect just a year ago before I realized how far my boat could really go. Like before I realized I don't need you. I don't need none of y'all. Yeah. Like fuck it. And I was going through some other stuff with people that I worked with musically, people just falling off, people kind of like, I felt abandoned. Yeah. And I was like, well, fuck it. I don't need none of y'all. I'm good. Yeah. I got me. Me and my wife, we got us. We good. I don't need y'all. And from that moment on, that's when I was just like, I'm good on bruh. I would see him, I wouldn't even speak to him. Like, what's good? He was like, you would think that I'm just like this dude that he knows, or like one of his like homeboys' kids. He'll see me, he won't even speak, or he'll look at me and be like, what's up? And I'll be like, what's up? No hugs, no embrace, no handshakes. It's like, what's good, nigga? What you need? Why are you talking to me?
So you have seen him
multiple times. Yeah. I seen him, I think not the most recent time I think was right before my wedding, maybe like a month or two before my wedding. So this was a couple of years ago. Yeah. And we were at this, cause I produce and DJ and stuff. Yeah. So, but I also release merch. Yeah. And through this organization called YGB, Young Gifted Black and Brown, they do this thing called the night market. Okay. Where they get all of these vendors from the community and they come out and they give them a space where you can sell whatever you sell. And then at the end, there's an after party. So I was DJing the after party, but because I was DJing the after party, they allowed me to come and bring some of my gear and some of my merch to sell like during the fair. And he was there with one of his little chicks or whatever. And bro, it was so awkward because some of my dad, I'm one of three with my mom. Yeah. But altogether, I'm like one of like 17, I think.
Are you kidding?
He has hella kids, bro.
Yo, get out. 17.
He has hella kids, bro. I'm like I'd lost count. So I just say 17 at this point. That's like my go-to number. So some of my younger siblings that I don't really know like that, I'm at this market and I'm walking through to see who the other vendors were. Yeah. And I see him at one of the tables. Yeah. And I look at him, he look at me, and he's like, he don't say nothing. We don't say nothing to each other. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, nigga, like, what's good? So I walk back to my section. Like 20 minutes later, 4 little kids run over to me. Hey. I'm like, hey, what's up, y'all? Yeah. And I know them, but they're young. They're like all like sub 10. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, there's no way y'all really, you might have seen a picture of me, but you don't really know me. You might know of me, but you don't really know me. Yeah. And they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, hey. And they're like, our dad told us to come say hi to you. I'm like, oh, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all good? Yeah, we good. All right, cool. Y'all want some candy or something? Yeah, they grab some candy. I'm like, cool, how y'all doing? They're like, yeah, we're doing good. We're just, chilling. I'm like, oh, that's what's up. Yeah. And then we awkwardly stand there looking at each other for a little bit. Yeah. They're like, all right, bye. I'm like, all right, bye. And they run back. Yeah. I'm like, that was awkward as shit. So then I'm walking back around to see like what other, like, because now I got a moment. I'm like, all right, do I want to buy some just to support some vendors? Yeah. So I'm walking by and I see him at the thing again. He's like, so I'm looking at the stand next to his because they had something. I think they had like African print something or something like that. And I was like, oh, this shit is kind of hard. So I'm looking at it. And then I start to walk by him and he goes, I saw the video for your little wedding.
For your little wedding?
I saw the video for your little wedding. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what's up. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. And I walked away. I was like, was that your way of asking if you were invited? Like saying you saw my little wedding? You saw the video for my little wedding? The invitation, like you saw a full ass production to invite people to a wedding. What was little about that? You know what I'm saying? But
wow, man.
Yeah, that's the kind of dude he is. You know what I'm saying? He don't really show emotion. He's really that like the man's man, like brute force kind of a dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and yeah, man, I don't know. That was kind of weird. And that and the Father's Day situation, like, made me think about old accounts and like things that just he would do, like when we were kids. I was like teenager. And so I'm going over to my dad's house. Okay, cool. So I would go over there because I think I got in trouble for something. So I'm over there. He gives me a talking to. And then it got to the point where he wasn't really like whooping us anymore. It was just kind of like, I'm sternly talking to you, but it's like, your mom is sending you over here because you're in trouble. But I don't want you to feel like every time you come over, it's because you're in trouble. So I'm just going to talk to you and then we're going to chill. It's like, okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. But then it was like, okay, it was dinner time.
Yeah.
So dinner's coming up and he's like, what do y'all want? I'm thinking about ordering Chinese food.
Yeah.
Me and like one of my older brothers is there. And I'm like, because he at the time is living with my dad.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, yeah, Chinese food sound fire. So he shows us the menu. He's like, all right, tell me what you want. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let me get like, the chow. I've always liked chow mein. So I'm like, yeah, let me get the chow mein noodles with all of the meat. You know, it's like chicken, beef, pork, or like chicken, seafood. I don't know, like the mixed meat one, the one with all the meat, because that's what he get. That's what he liked. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that too. That sounds good. And he's like, all right, cool. So we order the food, he passes the phone, we order what we want, he orders what he want. Time rolls by, the food gets delivered, and they're like, all right, mine, let's say it's $15.75. And he's like, where's your money at? And I was like, what? And he's like, you ordered this food, so you need to pay for it. And I was like, all right. Pulled out my little money, He's like, all right, cool, I'll give you your change.
Are you kidding me? And how old were you at this point?
Like 15, 16, something like that.
Man.
Yeah, because I've been working since I was 14. So yeah, I think I'm like 15, 16 or something like that. And I was just like, this is what it is. We never had like a father-son relationship. In my regards, it's always been, I don't know. Yeah. So I've had better relationships with uncles. You know what I'm saying? And shit, like strangers, mentors. So yeah, bro, it's just kind of always been like, that shit is wild. And that's when I was just like, I'm done with this nigga. Like, yeah, after that thing on the steps at church, I was like, there's no way, bro.
That was it for you.
Yeah. And
because you were like really pouring everything out. Like,
yeah,
okay.
I was empty. It was literally to the point where that was like rock bottom. And not a sense of like, it's rock bottom to pour out all your feelings and emotions, but I'm literally saying like my cup was empty. I gave everything that I had.
Bro, I need you.
Yeah, I gave everything that I had. And I felt like a slap in the face from that response. And I was like, I'm cool off this nigga. Like 100% for life. For life. I'm good.
Sheesh.
Yeah. There's been people have asked me multiple times, like, would I ever give him a chance? Would I ever welcome him into my life? Would I ever give it a chance if he came to me? And I'm like, nah. I don't know.
So you ain't going back?
Nah. So I don't know. That's when you were like, how do you get to the other side? I don't know if I'm on the other side, because as far as God goes and spiritually, if I was on the other side, I'd be willing to forgive. And I'd be willing to welcome him back into my life. Yeah. And I feel like I'm able to forgive him from a sense of, I can understand that he might not have had the tools necessary to give me the kind of love or support that I deemed necessary or that I needed.
Yeah.
So I forgive him for that, but I'll never be around you. I don't forget.
So you're not ready. You're not there yet.
I would never.
You would never.
I would never. Never. And for the same thing, like people like you and like my wife and other people that I know who have lost parents. And I can understand, I don't know if you feel this way, but I've had people talk to me and it's like, that person is here, like that's your DNA. Some of the reasons why you act the way you act, think the way you do, move, operate, like some of your physical features are from that person. Like you can still go and gain knowledge and understanding and
like
just a sense of being. Yeah. And I'm like, and so it's hard to say the kind of things that I'm saying to those people and to you, because I understand that, I don't know, given opportunity, maybe you would, because, you don't have that option.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to say, and there's no disrespect. Like, I try to say it without coming off disrespectful to y'all, but like, we're both in the same boat. He might as well be.
Yo.
We're both in the same boat. That person ain't there. But I don't know that person.
How is that like thinking, like knowing that the person is dead, but they're not dead? How's that like, I don't know how to put it, but is that like dissonance in him being there and him being not there?
Yeah.
How's that, man? Because for me, it's just like, okay, it's not that cool. Do you feel the same way about it now? It's just like, okay.
Yeah, I do now. I feel like there was a lot of resentment, a lot of frustration, and a lot of like not not just a lot of lack of knowledge for, you know, a lack of a better term. Like, I just didn't know, you know, like, I was just like, it wasn't necessarily lostness, like feeling lost, but yeah, just like feeling not in the know, like just not understanding. A lot of not understanding why. And then I just got to the point where I just stopped caring. I don't
like, what do you mean by why and not understanding?
Like, why are you not around? Why are you not in my life? Why do I not see you? Why do I only see you when I'm in trouble? Why are you not helping me through certain things? Why are you not giving me answers? Because you're not here. Same
the
thing.
why is hard, bro.
Yeah, same thing. It's literally the same thing. It's like,
it's the why that kills you.
Yeah, and the answer to your why is because that person isn't present to be able to give those things. Yeah. Which is the same answer to mine.
Yeah. And then you see him.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, my heart used to beat real fast, and how am I going to react? How am I going to respond? And now it's just like, it's literally like passing another person on the street that I was in a class with you in college, or damn, we went to middle school together. That's crazy. Damn, you were my dad at once. Yeah. I used to go to your house sometimes.
So you know, like, knowing this story about you, man, and how you've turned everything around and you're so present with other people and it's there to show love. I commend you for that, man.
Thank you, bro.
It actually goes a whole long way. Like, I think that's why people always say, like, if we knew everybody's story, like, we would be compassionate with everybody. Yeah. And we would see where they're coming from, right? Like, for me, just the fact that you were such a loving and compassionate person to other people is even more crazy because you didn't have that.
Oh, bro. And don't get me wrong. Like, I was an asshole. Yeah. Like, I was, when you're a big kid growing up, what happens? People talk shit about you. So your first line of defense is jokes back. So when I would meet, like, when I meet you, the first thing I'm doing subconsciously, now it's automatic, I don't even think about it anymore, is I'm looking at everything about you that I could talk about. Whoa. I have a mental checklist of, if you try me, all the shit that I can say to you. Yeah. And so I grew up with humor as a defense. Yeah. And my humor was an attack, though. Okay. It wasn't just like we're all laughing together, like we're all laughing at you. Yeah. And that's how, like, I approach people and that's how I approach situations a lot. Like, and because I was so prepared and expected it wouldn't be a one-to-one exchange. You would shoot at me, even if it's just like something light. Like, you really just fucking around. And I would go, oh yeah? Boom, boom, boom. I would hit you with like 3, 4, 5. Never do it again. Boom, 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 boom. Just like everybody in the room laughing. They're like, damn, look at this nigga's this and that. Oh, did y'all see? I didn't even notice that. Oh, damn. And make you feel so small and minute. Like, make you feel like the smallest being in the universe. Yeah, man, it took a long time for me to get out of that. And once I got out of that, it took a long time to first realize I was doing it and realize it was wrong. Also, thanks to my wife, who like was pointing shit out to me and having these kind of conversations with her. Yeah.
So I think the other question I had is how. So you're talking about different stages, right? So what stage do you think you are now?
In what regard?
In regards to your development from everything that has happened in your life. I think it's centered around your father. It's centered around your art and how it grew from that.
Yeah. I'm at a stage now of, I don't want to say contentment, because I don't ever want to be content. I don't feel like anyone should ever be content.
That's true.
Once you're content, you're stagnant. Once you're stagnant, you lack progress and there's nowhere to go.
That's true.
So I would say I'm at a state of just happiness. Yeah. There's still trials and tribulations. There's still things that occur each day that like piss me off or to tip me over, like that's like, 3 steps forward, 4 or 5 steps back on something. But yeah, man, I'm just like in a state of happiness and development, where, like I said, I have my plan musically now, and I know how I have my plan. All I need to do is, I'm in a state of execution. That's a good way of putting it. I'm in a state of execution where I have my foundation. Yeah. My foundation is laid. The cement has dried. I'm standing on top of it. I'm like, okay, this is solid. Now let's start building the house.
Okay.
Let's start building the stairs. Let's start building the frame, the structure.
Yeah.
Again, that's in all areas of life. Corporately, I'm solid. I'm good. I'm growing.
Yeah.
I'm building relationships, and I'm trying to get better at all the things I do that encompass my job and my work. Musically, I have my plan down. Now it's about being consistent and executing on it.
Okay.
Personally, same thing. I know the things that I look at myself. I know where I'm at, and I'm happy with where I'm at because I know where I was in the past. And now it's about doing the things and remaining consistent on going to the gym, what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, and the things that I'm pouring into my soul and my mentality.
Your spirit.
Yeah, my spirit.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like my main pillar, my life partner, making sure that we continue to grow and evolve with each other.
Yeah.
And that, I'm here for her as much as she's here for me.
Yeah.
And that I can make sure that I can continue to put myself in the best area and zones to be able to continue to not only support her, but hear her. Because that's the most important thing.
How do you build that, not having had a lot of examples?
Because that's real.
Because for me, I like it's something that's a struggle for me now, being in a relationship where I'm like, sometimes I'm like, it's not like I'm a bad person or anything. It's just I don't know, and it's like, sometimes I hear people like, married men saying, always choose your battles. And it's always funny for me when I hear that. Because I'm real. Like, okay, which battles do I choose?
No, facts.
I never saw examples of that.
Yeah, okay. Honestly, bro, it's honestly about life experiences and the people that you have around you and that you let be around you.
Yeah.
So if you're around a bunch of dudes that like they're not serious about relationships, it's kind of just like they're trying to hit it and quit it. They just, women are what they are, but they're not just ready. And it's nothing against them. They're probably just they're either not ready for a long-term relationship, or they just don't see themselves being a woman based on whatever their background might be.
Yeah.
If you're around a lot of them types, you'll exhibit a lot of them behaviors. But one, if you listen to your girl, see the kind of like when she's telling you the thing, her likes and dislikes, the things she wants and things that she don't want. And I think the first step is like listening to your partner, seeing what they like, what they don't like, and just going out of your way to make them happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If they don't like when you talk to them a certain way, don't talk to them that way. If she like roses, get her roses. You know what I'm saying? Like one thing that I had to learn is that because I would fight stuff a lot, or like I didn't start out good. Like I was bad in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like not to the point of cheating or doing anything like that, but like just being stubborn and stuck in my ways and not really growing together. It's like, this is me, this is you, and we're in this thing, but we need to like remain us. And not understanding that you can grow based on what the other person is telling you or they see in you, and you're still growing together. You're still being yourself. You're just becoming a better version of yourself and a compatible version of yourself, right? So listening to them when they tell you, when you hear something like little signs like, oh, I would love to go to this place, or, for Valentine's Day, I want this, or whatever the case is, like, don't be resistant. And then my thing was, she would say like she likes something or she wants something. And then I wouldn't do it right then because I would be like, oh, but it's your idea. I want it to be my idea. I want the credit for it. Right? It's always a credit thing. I don't want you to think I'm doing
when
this.
I do that a lot. Like when it's not the right time for me, it's not the right time.
Yeah, like I don't want you to think I'm doing this just because you want it. Like I want the credit for being able to do this. Or sometimes I wouldn't do it because it was your suggestion.
But it's like, it's not the right time.
But it's hers. It's for her. So like if you have the means, or if you can make something happen, do it. You know what I'm saying? And if like, she wants to go to this hella expensive ass restaurant, but that's not in your means, just go on a date to a restaurant of what kind of food does she like? Go, take her to get that. Create date nights. The things that men historically don't do that shit. And it'll make all the difference in the world.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So when it came to not having examples around, my first thing was getting out of my own way and doing the things that she was telling me would make her happy. You know what I'm saying?
So instead of having an example out there, just listening to the person that's right there.
Yeah.
And then building an example.
Exactly. And so as you're building this example and as you're making your partner happy, you might, like I said, the mentor from the computer lab that taught me how to produce, he remained in my life. He's married. He's been, he's been in 2 marriages, has kids, all of that stuff. So like talking to him about certain stuff, other mentors and other men that I saw in relationships or marriages and successful relationships or marriages, talking to them about certain things and seeing what their thoughts was. And my friend group and the people around me, the same thing.
What we were talking about earlier when I was saying part of it is like when you try to build a community of men around you, it's like men in groups, we're crazy in groups.
Yeah.
Like it's like, that ego thing that I was talking about that I noticed that when I'm around my friends and when a group is like, when I'm talking about real stuff like, guys, how do I manage a relationship without, for example, cheating? It's like, oh, you don't cheat, man. You should be cheating. Like, it's all good, bro. Like, that just becomes a conversation. Right? Like, all of a sudden, you don't know, like, people never tell you real stuff about what it is that, how they live their lives. They may even tell you the wrong stuff to do at the end of the day. So how have you navigated communities that may end up giving you toxic ideas of what you should be doing or who you should be, and then sip in and find the right stuff that will help you grow? Or at least build a community around it.
So I feel like there's 2 things to it. The first thing is, in your heart of hearts, you know what's wrong.
Yeah.
You feel me? You know, when you hear some shit, you're like, that don't quite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll say, the number one thing is like listening to yourself and being like, that don't feel right
to me.
And if I'm already asking, I shouldn't be doing this, or why is this happening, or how do y'all deal with these urges or these feelings? And they're saying just do it. It's like, all right, these aren't the right people to bring this to, right? But also, for me, it started as, one, taking account and knowing, all right, if it don't feel right, that's probably not the route. That's probably not the vibe. But bro, I'm very big on like analyzing shit, analyzing situations, analyzing people, and trying to come up with conclusions, right? And it's easier to do it when it's outside of your life versus when it's something you're directly dealing with. So just from listening to what you're saying and thinking about what I've done, a lot of those conversations happen one-on-one because the vulnerability is gone because you're not worried about what the other 6 dudes in a room care about what you're saying to me. It's just me and you talking just like this, right? So having those conversations, like you might see somebody with a ring on their finger, and you're like, oh, okay, you see them, you dealt with them before, they're in your group of friends, or like the second layer, and like we all might be here vibing, chilling, and then y'all he like in the kitchen grabbing a drink, and you pull up, hey bro, like you married? Yeah, how long you been married? I've been married for this long. Oh, that's dope, man. Like, if it's possible, I would love to just go grab a coffee with you at some point and literally just, have a conversation. I'm like starting to grow and develop in my relationship and trying to figure out what next steps look like, or if this is the right, person for next steps. Like I don't even know how to judge that kind of stuff, but, I would love to know your thoughts if you would be down for it. If they are, dope. If not, cool. You do the same thing with somebody else that you feel like would be that right example. And then after a while, you have, or maybe you go to like a Bible study and it just happened to be a bunch of married people there, or people it might be a dude there in a successful relationship. Like you start pulling people from different environments. You like, okay, from these one-on-one conversations, I know these 2-3 dudes are solid.
Yeah.
Now, fuck it. Let's all 4 of us get together because we probably all got answers for each other. And so you don't just go to your immediate group of friends or boys from long term or that you're with for this certain thing, like my work homies. You know what I'm saying? I might not go to them with certain things because we might be in different spaces.
Yeah.
But you build relationships with certain people around that topic. Yeah. And then you just pull that community together.
Okay.
So that's how you start to build a community out of it. You have your one-on-one relationships and then you pull your community together and see how it works.
So it's like, because I feel like sometimes there is that tendency of just being like, oh, these are already my friends. Let me just ask them. Oh, these are my work dudes. Let me just I play football with these guys.
Nah. Because y'all are bonded. Your bond isn't about interpersonal relationships. Your bond is about football or work or, the specific interest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or because we've grown up together. But just because we've grown up together doesn't mean our experiences overlap. or our viewpoints. You know what I'm saying? We might, where we are in life, our mentalities can be completely different. I still love you. You're my dude, like for life. But I know there's just certain things that you don't talk to certain people. You know what I'm saying? I can't, bro.
I don't believe you.
If every month, if every month, bro, you out of money, you might not be the best person to talk to about finances. You're my brother. I love you to death, but I'm not going to come talk to you about if I should get a 401k or not. You're going to be like, what the fuck? You got 401k, my nigga. Hey, we about to turn up. It's like, no, bro. I'm not talking about $401,000. You know what? Never mind, my nigga. It's cool. I fuck with you. You trying to go hoop? All right, cool.
Yo, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a real thing. And dude, thanks for that. That's a gem. Yeah. Because I had never seen it that way. Mm-hmm. For me, it was just always, these are my friends. I should get advice from them. But they may not be the best people to get advice from.
Facts.
And I think that's where we are because we're surrounded by men that may have toxic ideas about some things that we want help from. And they may not be the best people to ask.
Hell no.
Because they're telling you to like manage a relationship in this way when they have failed relationships themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. I learned a lot. And I just want to recap some of the things that I learned in this conversation. So you can see the impact you've had on me just having this conversation with you. But absolutely, I think throughout the whole story, as an umbrella of the whole story of your life, I think I've learned that the power of, I think it's so cheesy now, people say it a lot, but trusting the process.
Yeah.
And I could see how at different stages of your life, you may have thought, man, this is it. Like, but just you keep on thriving. And even now, thriving through your music, your art, everything you're putting out, your work and everything, it just shows that the power is coming back to the trust. Okay, I'm going to trust that things are going to work out. I'm going to trust that this is going to work. I'm going to trust that even though I didn't have examples, I'm going to make my relationship work. I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to get better at the music. I'm going to put in the work. And even though it's not showing right now, at some point it will. And it is showing that it's working. So I think that's something that I want to take away with me first.
Cool. Yeah.
And the other thing is just the relationship work that because your relationship is good. It's like you were saying when I asked you, like, so where are you now? And you said, okay, I've laid all the foundations in everything that I'm doing. And part of it is just like the biggest foundation, I think, where most of your inspiration and growth comes from what I see, is like having that pillar of strength from your wife.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's big. And it shows like even the things that you've been dealing with for all the other foundations you're laying, like having that pillar is really significant. So it encouraged me to keep working on my relationship. And the other thing is just understanding yourself, like that self-worth, that self-love, that self-compassion, and growing that, and then pouring into other people and constantly helping other people to look at themselves in a better way. And I think it shows in your work. And I think that's the first thing I told you. That your music was like really refreshing. Like I felt it was like ratchet in a good way.
Exactly. I call it like exactly. I call it sophisticated ratchet.
I love it. I love it. I felt different, man. I was just like, why am I bumping? But inspired at the same time.
I still want people to be able to dance and get ratchet and dudes be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But they be motivated at the same time. You feel me?
That's how I felt. And I think it's the same thing in person as well. Like I feel those vibes, right? Like just the motivation, but also just like the realness of it and the rawness of it. I think it's great. So yeah, man, you definitely did impact me, and I'm glad I came out to talk to you. And thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you for your time, man. I'm glad you came out. This was a great conversation. And I want to let you know too, man. Like, please keep doing this because even through the conversation, it allowed me to think about things that like I haven't thought about in a while, or like how to phrase certain things. And I feel like the people that you're having these conversations with are learning about themselves and their process and like understanding things in a different way as well. So I don't think that is just like pulling things for yourself and pulling from the audience, but the way that you're asking questions, the way that you're phrasing things and the preparation that you're doing beforehand is really helping the interviewee as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really dope what you're doing. And I think like even beyond the impact that it has on you and the impact that you're having on the audience, you're impacting the person that you're talking to as well, like within the conversation.
Oh man.
So I think that's dope.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. Thank you. It's just happy for me that it's a two-way street.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, when I met you, I was like, dude, you're a cool dude. And I definitely want you to like me. I was like, bro. So I'm glad.
Yeah, bro, this was dope.
Bro, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
for real.
All right,
Yeah.
bro. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us this week. And remember, vulnerability is strength and the birthplace for love, for ourselves, and for others. Till next week, it's goodbye for now.